Good morning. What an amazing morning it is in Indianapolis today. Sun shining, cool breeze. Man, it's nice. My neighborhood's kind of quiet, and just thought I'd take a quick walk around the hood and see what's going on. I was reading about the verses that the old song, the wise man built his house upon the rock, and the foolish man built his on the sand, and then the rains came and the water came down, and down went the house. I was thinking about that today, and I was also thinking, I think it's in Deuteronomy 28, where I kept seeing the word obey in Deuteronomy 28. And when I saw it in the footnote of my Bible, it had an alternate explanation of the word obey. It said, or listen to the voice of. And that's just a really interesting idea of the word obey, that you listen to the voice of. If my children were going to obey me, they would listen to the voice of their dad, or if I was going to obey God, I'd listen to the voice of God. So anyway, if you put that into context, that maybe the word obey means to listen to the voice of, and then you go back to that old song, the wise man built his house upon the rock, and the foolish man built his on the sand. And you think of that word picture, if you're going to put something on a rock versus putting it on the sand. If you've ever stood in the sand on a beach and you've seen the waters come in and just see the erosion that takes place that morning so quickly, you can understand the foolishness of building a house on the sand. And so when he says that in there, the wise man built it on the rock and the foolish man built on the sand. What the actual verses in Matthew 7 say, the one who built it on the rock is the one who heard and acted. So he heard and acted, kind of like that obey, you listen to the voice of. And the foolish man was the one who heard and did not act. Does that make sense? So the wise man, the stone, is hearing the voice of God and doing what he asks. The foolish one is to hear the voice and not do what he asks. Probably a decade or so ago, I was driving through the same neighborhood here, and all day long I'd heard call this friend of mine, and all day long I did not act on that. So according to that example, I was on the sand there, right? And what happened is my friend had made a mistake and had made himself onto the front page, I believe, of the Indianapolis Star by his mistake. And God's still small voice was encouraging me to reach out to him. Finally, after I heard that voice 3 or 4 or 5 times that day, I was just driving, driving right at the corner down there at the end of this road, when I finally acted. I heard and acted. In other words, I obeyed and shifted my life that moment from the sand to the rock. And the result was I just established a rich friendship with a friend that I'd known before, who had now committed a crime and needed a friend. And God used that in an amazing way. And so in an ordinary act, we can go from building our life on the sand, living something apart from faith, to shifting our mindset and acting by faith. And that basically happened in a matter of 10 seconds or something. And so today, as you're going about your world, maybe the things that are sandy that you're establishing yourself on, you can shift your thought process and put it on the rock. All right, my friends, have a great day. See ya.